Okay, now we're going to start with the third method, that is the payback period. So this is quite simple. It's just plus, minus, addition, subtraction, and then you're done. More precisely, it's just going to be addition of the cash flows, and then you get your payback period. So before we jump into the depth of this thing, let us understand what is the meaning of this payback period. Payback period means the period of time that the project requires to recover the money invested in that project. Okay, it's simple as that. It is the time period needed for the to recover the investment made in that project. Okay, that is, you take up all your cash inflows which are going to come in the future, and then you compare it with the investment value, and at which point of time you have your entire cost recovered. That is your payback period. It's simple as that. No discounting factors, no present value, no such stuff like that. Okay, the payback period of a project is expressed in years and computed using the following formula. Payback period formula is investment required for a project divided by the net annual cash flows. Okay, investment required for a project, that is the cash outflow, divided by the net annual cash inflow. Now, as I said, unlike the net present value method and IRR method, payback method does not consider the present value of the cash flows, precisely present value of future cash flows. Under this method, your investment is going to be accepted or rejected purely on the basis of when the money is going to be recovered, when the investment is going to be recovered. The acceptance or rejection criteria is basically boils down to this thing. Payback period is less than the company's expected payback period. Sure, go ahead, accept the project. Now let's see an example on this thing, and also after that we'll have two different scenarios. I won't disclose it right now. Once we complete the payback example, after that we'll go ahead for this two different scenarios. So here we have an example on payback period. Okay, so let us say ABC company is planning to purchase a new machinery. The related details of the cash flow is as under. Okay, the company's desired payback period is 4 years. Okay, so initial cost of machine, that's gonna be let's quote it to say somewhere around $40,000. 40,000. Annual cash flow details. Sales will be increased, or you can say sales will be 80,000 supposingly, and cost of materials say around 10,000 of outflow. Cost of materials, salaries another $20,000. Maintenance of the machinery another $5,000. Yeah, pretty much that's it. So we can say annual net cash inflow will be equal to $45,000 annually. Okay, but wait a minute, compared to this, the initial cost of the machine is very less, right? Let's say the sales is going to be only about $50,000. Yeah, that makes sense to us now. $50,000. So the annual net cash inflow is going to be $15,000. Notice one thing over here, we have not taken depreciation of the machinery account. Why? Because that's a non-cash expense. Actually, cash is not going to be spent for booking a depreciation. So here, all the non-cash expenses and incomes are avoided over here. So if you remember the payback period formula, here formula, that is your investment required for the project, that's divided by the net annual cash inflow. Perfect. Let's get this done. Oops. So now it makes sense, right? Payback period is equal to investment required for the project divided by the net annual cash inflow. That's the payback period formula. So over here, first we need to compute the net annual cash inflow. That is step one, which is covered over here in the question itself. Ideally, we framed it over here in the question itself, or else you need to compute it. That's pretty straightforward, as you have seen already. So here we have the net annual cash inflow of $15,000. Investment required for the project as $40,000. So here we have $40,000 divided by $15,000 equals to how much? 2.67. Ideally 2.7 years. So that's, yes, that's less than the 4 years. So to conclude, the payback period is 2.7 years, which is less than company's desired payback period. Therefore, the equipment should be purchased. Okay, so that was all about payback period. As easy as it could get, guys. There can be nothing simpler than this one project evaluation technique. But there are certain limitations in this method also. It's that many times it happens that projects or the investments gives a high return after its initial gestation period is over. Like in this case, it might be possible if the machinery will have generated an annual cash inflow of just say around $5,000, or you can say if it was the other way around, where we'll just see over here. This is not for the final sum, just giving it as an example to explain the disadvantage of this method. Let's say the machine would have costed annual sales of just $30,000. Oh my god, why am I making so much mistakes today? We'll make it to $38,000 precisely.